Hi guys, and welcome to Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. Appreciate you being here. Today's video will start as soon as you subscribe. Thank you. Today's video is on Chuck Berry and how he spent time in prison. Let's take a look. Little bit of music history was made on October 18th of 26 in St. Louis, Missouri, and that was the day that Charles Edward Anderson Berry, who you probably know as Chuck, entered the world and began a life journey that would alter popular music well as we know it. Great-grandson of slaves born in a segregated world, says biography. Chuck didn't remember seeing anyone white until he was 3 years old. And then there were firemen battling a blaze. Started singing in the church choir when he was 6, moved on to school talent shows, and took up guitar in high school. A passion for music may or may not have led him to drop out of high school, but shortly teenaged, what were you thinking? Ness inclined him and a friend to think it was a good idea to pick up a lost handgun and use it to commit armed robbery in Kansas City, Missouri. Apprehended, tried, convicted. He spent his first incarceration in the immediate reformatory for young men, sentenced to 10 years, but released for good behavior on his 21st birthday. In the early 1950s, he hit stage again, playing guitar in several bands, impressing not only with his musicianship, but his stage presence. His first hit, Maybelline, charted in 55, and he was off and running, but that many consider the first true rock and roll recording. More hits followed, and predictably, Temptation. While in Mexico, he met a 14-year-old waitress, sex worker, and brought her back to St. Louis with him to work in his club. Not long after he fired her, and when she was arrested for prostitution, he was arrested for violating the Mann Act, transporting a woman for immoral purposes. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in a federal penitentiary, as history tells us. He appealed, but the conviction was upheld, and he served about 18 months. Experience changed him. Fellow artist Carl Perkins said Berry became cold, real distance, and bitter. Wasn't the last of Berry's legal troubles. In 87, he pleaded down an assault charge for harassment. As Rolling Stone wrote in 2017 obituary, he was accused of hitting a woman in the face, causing damage that required 5 stitches. He was fined. Around that same time, it came to light that his restaurant outside St. Louis had hidden cameras in the women's restrooms, recording women, some quite young, in various stages of undress, without their knowledge. Tapes were found in his home, says The Guardian. He ended up paying over $1 million in settlements. So who was Charles Edward Anderson Berry? Rolling Stone quotes Keith Richards. I couldn't warm to him even if I was cremated next to him. Bob Dylan, on the other hand, once called Berry the Shakespeare of rock and roll. If they're honest, every rock artist who followed owes Chuck or Charles a bit of a debt. Separate the person from the musician. The musician deserves a lot of credit for what rock and roll was, and I wouldn't blame him for what it's become, but for the birth of rock and roll. Person, you decide. I just thought, I found that, and I thought this would make a good video, so. And it seems like I did one on Buck Owens and George Jones yesterday, and that don't seem to go over well either, so I'm just trying to figure this out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Have a great day. God bless you. Be praying for you.